Hey everyone. Welcome to Zoetic Chat. Unleash your life's journey with me, John Mayfield. This ultimate podcast for spiritual guidance will answer all your life, soul and spiritual questions. I'm thrilled to have you join me every week. My vast knowledge, wisdom and experience are crucial to your personal and spiritual growth. Together we will explore a variety of topics and delve deeply into the truths of my life and spiritual path. Don't forget to sign up to my newsletter at johnmayfield.com. Hey everyone. Welcome to Zoetic Chat. Unleash your life's journey with me, John Mayfield. Today's episode is a transmission of what I wanted to bring forward for some time. You know, people will often say to you, oh, you've got a gift, or mediumship, psychic, all of those other things are a gift. I actually think it's a frequency. I've never felt comfortable with people saying it's a gift. I guess it was given to me, but I just believe more strongly connecting it as a frequency. So this is the first of a two-part special called Redefining Mediumship, because mediumship is changing, and so am I, so are you. We're all changing, and we're no longer just connecting with those that have passed over. We're connecting with the multidimensional field of remembrance. Today I'm going to explore what mediumship really is and why it's not a gift, and why I believe, especially for me, it's a frequency. So thinking on those lines, it's not a gift, it's a frequency. Let's just be clear that mediumship isn't a magic power, and it's not something reserved for a special few. It's actually about tuning in, just like the radio station years ago when they had tiny little dials on them, and you turned them and tweaked them until you got a clearer signal or a clearer message. Well, that in essence is what you're doing with your mediumship. You're connecting to the frequency, the channel, but then you're changing the frequency to give you the clarity of everything that you need to give to someone. But I also feel it's more than that. I feel it's about embodiment too. You don't just receive a message, you become the channel through which it flows. Excuse me. You can become the channel through which it flows. And you know, sometimes, yes, people are born open, but many of us, many people become clear through lived experiences, through grief, through surrender and sacred practice. You know yourself, when you've had a traumatic experience, when you've had something going on, or somebody that you really loved passed over, you often have a catalytic moment whereby you find your whole life changes. And I believe that a lot of passings are catalysts for the people left on earth. I definitely feel that traumatic experiences that we might have are also a catalyst for moving forward, or a jolt or a shake up to say, come on, you're not doing what you should be doing. I'm giving you some trauma to make you wake up. That's what I feel sometimes happens. That happened with me when I had the car accident over 25 years ago. I was happy in my work, teaching, going to the gym, bringing up my children, single parent, partner had passed over. I was okay in that space. But then I had the little car accident, which wasn't major, but it was enough to change my whole life, because I couldn't go back to the work that I was doing. My brain just didn't connect to the lingo that was connected with teaching and program management, center management, all that kind of thing. I couldn't do it. My brain just did not work the same. So then I became fully on my spiritual path, and probably I should have done that years ago, but I didn't. So that is one example of where trauma can make changes. Also passings, when my Granny Mary passed over, that was definitely a catalyst for me. I believe as well when my partner passed, that was a catalyst, but not a massive one. It was just an encouragement to change, I feel that was. And other people that have passed over, oh my gosh, especially my friend Tara, when she passed over just before December, well, just before Christmas, should I say, oh, that was devastated, absolutely devastated. And her passing, definitely a catalyst for me moving forward, a catalyst for change. Not so much because she was very spiritual, she connected to the angels very, very strongly. It didn't bring me that any more than I connect to angels now. However, it did bring me this: I'm on it, I'm doing what I need to do, I'm not stopping, I'm moving forward, because I listened to her at least 5 or 6 times a day while she was in the hospice, while she was in the hospital. Every single thing that happened to her, I know. She shared it with me. And even now, my throat wobbles when I try and talk about it. It was just devastating. And what she went through in those 6 months, that memory for me is starting to fade a bit now. But if I click into it, I can still feel it. She was definitely a catalyst for change. But also a kind of a catalyst for me to take stock of where I was, what I was doing, to stop going round and round doing the same old thing. Because although I progress in my mediumship, psychic and all of that, sometimes you get a bit lazy, don't you? I bet you can resonate with that. We become a bit lazy, we become a bit comfortable. And my life is not meant to be lazy and comfortable, and I don't think a lot of yours is either, because you need to live those experiences. So through those lived experiences, the grief, surrendering, letting go, surrendering is massive. When you let go, then it gives you an open space to carry on and move forward. And also creating those sacred practices. When you create a sacred practice, it gives you an amazing opening in your life. It just opens so many more doors. It helps you with your vision of what's around you as well. It really does. And then when we start worshipping the ability and start honoring the responsibility, mediumship becomes a soul role, not a trick or a pantomime or anything like that. I've always taken this work seriously. And even on the odd occasion where people have called you a name, I've never really been called bad names, to be honest. I've always just gone with the flow, and people just seem to accept me and what I do. And I think because my heart is so open in this work and I'm not restricted in any way, I feel my heart is so open, people gravitate towards me. But remember, you must honor the responsibility of your frequency. And there's something else that I've always done as well, and this has only come to the forefront since I've been on TikTok doing lives on there. A lot of mediums, you'll hear them say, oh, let's see who steps forward, who's going to step forward, and that will be the person that you need. Well, sometimes I think that is true, that whoever steps forward is who you need a message from. However, some energies are stronger than others. So it might be a granny energy that's trying to come through, but your dad or your uncle or somebody else's energy vibration is stronger, and they kind of push one out of the way. So very often people will say to me, oh, I really wanted my grandma to come through, and then they'll say, well, why didn't they? And there are lots of reasons. One is that there's a stronger energy pushing through. 2 is that although you want her, you're not open enough for her. And 3, you want it, but you don't really want it. There's always that element. So that's why, and for loads of years now, I've always said, if you could have anyone coming through, who would it be? And then I write their name on a piece of paper. Well, that's not true. I don't write their name. I write mum, dad, granny, whoever it is, on a piece of paper, and I'll just say, We've asked for them to come through, and we'll talk from them when they're here. And I think it's important to allow that. So when I do TikTok lives especially, and I'm doing mediumship on there, I'll just say, who do you want to come through? Because by asking for who, that who person comes through. And when you're working on social media like that, you need to be quite fast. You don't need to be sitting there for 5 minutes trying to work out who's there, because there's no point. You might as well ask, bring it in, give the message, and move on, because that's what you need to do. So I do ask you who you want to hear from. And because that also honours the intention. So the intention of a mediumship psychic reading, especially on social media, is to bring through a particular person. A mediumship as well isn't about proving. It's about being in the presence of whoever is there, whoever's around. It's being in that presence. You know, when I open to someone in spirit, you have to remember that you're not performing. It is a sacred service. Connecting to loved ones is sacred. And when you say a name, when you say a person, their relationship to you, you open the door for them to come in. You do that. And I just hold the door open. I hold the door open to listen and to transmit or transmute the message from them. I'm so proud of the way that the universe works with me. I have to say that at this point, because I was just taking a lovely pause and I felt it in my soul. I felt that feeling of the special connections that you get to those people that have passed over. And there's many people that say, well, you can't ask for a certain person to come through, but you can. You can ask. You can ask for it. Well, let's just say a soul. Because some people like to connect to animals. Some people like to connect to gods and different things like that. And you can ask for a message from whoever you want to. So who is it you want to connect to? Think about that. And even if you go to one of these, a show, you know, sit there and set the intention, I want Granny to come through, and see what happens. It's more difficult when you're doing a show like that, because you have to be fast again. So it's no good standing there with an audience in anticipation of someone coming through, and you're, oh no, that's not them, oh no, let me wait and see. You can't do that, because you lose their interest. You need to get the energy, speak from the energy, and give the message to the people waiting to hear it. Not very, sometimes on those occasions, in an event setting, I might say, who would you like to come through? But usually I take the energy that's coming through because of the sheer speed that I need to deliver. And that's the way that they work with me. So some people for mediumship, they're more usually called evidential mediums. Although I give evidence, I never call myself an evidential medium, because I always feel that evidential mediums are the mediums in churches. I always have that feeling that they're the ones that stand there and tell you what your granny and your granddad's wearing, and what they look like and what they did in their life. I'm more the psychic medium, so I get the psychic coming in. So they'll show me things that are in your future. They'll show me things that you've done in your life, be it that day or a few days before. They'll show me a bit of a life path for you, but they'll also give me evidence of them. So they'll tell you things about them, their personality and stuff like that. So the evidence does come through, but I would never restrict myself to being an evidential medium. So remember, you open the door and I hold it open. It's quite amazing, really. So at the weekend, I was I went to an evening. So I was invited to go to this place. I'm not naming anywhere. I was invited to go to this place. I'd never been there before. I'd looked at it on Facebook, looked at the venue, and I thought, oh, that looks nice. That looks okay. I will go with it. I won't go and look at the venue. I'll just turn up. 2 days before I went, I started to have strange feelings, like this feeling of dread almost. And I thought, blimey, I've never had that before so strong. Sometimes I get a bit uneasy about a venue, but this was more dread. It was like dirty, dark. I didn't want to go. Anyway, that was on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, I got up and I felt all right. And I thought, oh, I'll get everything ready, iron my trousers, blah, blah. Got everything ready, talking to spirit, saying, have you got something to say? What do you want me to start with? They usually give me something to start with. I did all of that. And I was doing some work on my computer, and it was about 2:00. And I looked at the clock, and I thought, oh, I needed to leave at 5. So I thought, I've got 3 hours. And then all of a sudden I realised that what I normally do on a Thursday, I hadn't done. So I felt again a bit mixed up. And I thought, well, I couldn't work it out. I had a brain blip, I know I did. And then I realised it was Thursday and I was going to the event on the Friday. So I congratulated myself on getting everything ready ahead of time. I congratulated myself and was thankful and grateful that the universe made me think about Thursday. And then I had to really sit down and think, what am I actually doing today? And I've got my spiritual development group in the evening. Luckily, I'd got everything ready for that. So I just needed to drop in the PowerPoint and get on with it. Now I'm sharing that with you. Now, why? I don't really know. Did I have a brain blip? Did I have a senior moment? Have I got a bit of something coming in that's making me lose days and times? But I believe it's an energy shift. I get quite often these energy shifts where I'm not within myself, where I feel like I'm myself but somewhere else. I feel, especially when I'm walking, I can walk and walk and walk, and it feels like I've walked an inch. And then another time I can walk and walk and walk, and it feels like I've done treble. It's ever so strange. But sometimes I can almost see the energy around me shifting and changing. It's like it goes a bit sort of fuzzy and not major fuzzy, but it just changes and I'm in a different place. Like the other day, I walked through a field that was full of corn, small corn growing, and it had only not long been planted. And then the next day that I went in that cornfield, and the corn was grown so high that it couldn't have just happened in a few days or a week even. And that to me is when you're being shifted. You're shifted into a different space. You're shifted into the future. You're shifted onto a different timeline. And I actually embrace those feelings and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So anyway, going back to Thursday, I sorted that out. I'm grateful. Friday, I got up and I thought, oh, I haven't got that feeling of dread. So I felt good. I felt energized. I felt ready to take on the world that night. The people there were having a meal before I got there, which was lovely. And I got there about 20 minutes before I was due to start. And everything was set, because everything was set up. I didn't have to do much in that respect. And everyone was there, greeted me when I came in. It was lovely. But what I realized was, once I started, again, something has shifted within me because I wasn't thinking. I didn't need to connect. I didn't need to ask. It just flowed. Now, the messages always flow, but this was like I wasn't there and something else was flowing. Now, if I look at the photographs that the guys took, when I zoom in on my face, that just does not look like my face. I would challenge anyone to say that was me. Yes, it was my body and everything. That was not my face in those photographs, unless each photograph was caught at a weird moment. But the other thing that happened as well There were so many souls dancing around the room. Some of them lined up, some of them stood next to the people, but it didn't make a difference to me. Whatever flowed through and out of my mouth, there was jokes. I'm not a stand-up comedian. There was laughter. There was tears. And there was messages that pierced people's hearts. A mother who had only been passed a month ago came through. That was amazing. The whole room went quiet whilst I was delivering a message to her from her. It was absolutely amazing. One of the things that really stood out for me, and this is why I'm not naming the place, but I do want to speak about it. Whilst I was talking to one of the ladies in the audience, I saw aliens standing by the side of her. Now, I just said an alien, but I actually saw more than that, but I didn't say it. I just said there must be something connecting to aliens because I can see one around you, but really I saw lots of aliens. I saw aliens like the Greys, and then I saw aliens that were opaque. I couldn't see them. They weren't giving me the vision of the other alien that was with the Greys. And as I spoke of them, I could really see them very, very strongly. The lady was nodding as if to say, yes, I understand aliens and something connecting to them. So that was absolutely perfect. I loved that. I loved everything to do with that for her. And this, I might add, was the first time I've ever seen aliens whilst I'm working in a venue like that, or any venue, period. But I have seen them on a train. Don't know if I've said this on any of my podcasts before, but I don't remember where I was going and coming from, but I do remember sitting on a train and I was facing forward, and then across the other side, maybe 6 seats down, there was people facing towards me, and there was aliens shown to me there. They showed us greys, and then I looked away, I looked again. You never think to take your phone out, when you see things like this. Sorry, you never ever think to take your phone out and take a picture. Anyway, I just sat there and I was staring, and they were staring back at me, staring into my soul. I could feel it. And then I looked away again because I needed to keep looking away and looking back to make sure what I was seeing. And then when I looked back again, maybe the fourth time, I didn't see them. They're gone. So this is my second really strong visual encounter of aliens. And it was fabulous, I have to say. I felt quite privileged to be able to be shown them, not to be able to see them, to be shown them. It was amazing. Yeah, it really was amazing. I'm thinking about that all the time now. But I did speak to the guys afterwards. And again, I'm not going to reveal everything that he told me because it might be private. But there was something else a couple of weeks prior with someone else, not a medium or psychic. Then they had an alien conversation. So that is twice within a few months in that place that has happened. Interesting. I might even go back and just go and sit and have a coffee or something and see what I pick up. I'll record that if I do. So for me, mediumship in the 21st century, in the now, is not just a spirit connection. It's a multidimensional translation. Translating the energy into visions, translating the words, the noises, the sounds into words that people understand. It's more of a soul show. And that was then. I couldn't. I tried to put into words how I felt on the night, and it was a soul show because all the souls are there dancing around, wanting you to connect to them, waiting for their time. It was definitely a soul show from my point of view, anyway. So I think I'm going to be calling not a psychic night, but a soul show psychic night. That's going to be what I'm going to start calling my events, and you heard it here first. Let me say. It was a multidimensional translation. There's no doubt about that. And it felt amazing. Bloody amazing. Amazing for me. I lost all sense of time. Normally people time me 45 minutes, then 45 minutes. I lost all sense of time. And I know that I went over time, but it didn't matter because the energies were still flowing. The words just flowed. So it wasn't Jan the medium, Jan the psychic. It was my soul, who funnily enough got named a few months ago. I don't know if you heard the podcast on that. My soul was given a name by the universe, and it was in a meditation, and it was to name my soul. And it's the name of my soul, it's Esteria, 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 but you roll in the R's. So for me, Esteria, my soul, was the transmitter. Transmitting to the other souls, and then I was just opening my mouth and words came out. That's the only way I can describe that. I don't want to sit here and describe all the normal, mundane. Are they mundane? Just the normal events. I'm ready for something new. I know I am. And I'm ready for different. And that's my whole life. I'm always ready for the next adventure, the next part of whatever I'm doing, my soul purpose. Oh, I love it. And so multidimensional translations in a soul show is what you're going to be getting more and more of. I can feel it. I feel all pumped up about it, and I can't wait to go to the next one, which I haven't got planned at the moment. So if you've got a venue, excuse me, or a room connecting to a pub somewhere, I don't actually like working in a pub exactly, because people drinking too much don't mix with the work that I do. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, a few drinks is fine, but people getting too drunk, it just doesn't mix. So the spirits and the spirits don't really mix when I'm working. But yeah, a few or one drink here and there is absolutely fine. So if you want me at your venue, please get in touch. People do tend to contact me now more than me looking around for venues, so I'm ready. So, we don't often hear about alien contact in the same sentence as mediumship, but this time we did. So spirit isn't limited to human souls, if you like, although a soul is a soul, but you are looking for the soul of a human loved one to come through. So remember, the souls aren't just limited to that, or the spirit just limited to the humans. The field isn't limited just to past lives. I felt before I felt star beings before. I felt otherworldly consciousnesses. And that night that I had on Friday just gave me another dimension. And I gave voice to those amazing souls dancing around, but also to the greys. And it was received. The room received it. They actually, I don't even remember if they oohed or ahed or like, oh my gosh, do I believe this? There was no kind of fear or sound, I don't think, coming from the audience when I said it. That was amazing. So this is where we're heading. This is where I'm heading. I'm heading to a galactic soul theatre with multidimensional translation. So watch this space. When you see that advertised, know that you need to be there. And also, it's not just about being there and wanting a message from your loved one. You will feel uplifted when you come out of a room that I've been demonstrating in, or transmitting in, translating in. You will feel different. You will feel uplifted. And very, very often the messages cross over. So you could be thinking, oh, I wish you'd connect to my uncle. And then I'm connecting to somebody's father, but their father and your uncle crossed over and they had very similar experiences. And what I'm saying to one is exactly what you needed to hear. So you can take that for yourself. Take it and it's yours. Because sometimes that uncle of yours might not want to come through, but it's just passed a message through to someone else. Interweaving, intermingling is happening more and more. So we're going with the Galactic Soul Theatre beyond mediumship. We're going beyond linear time, and we're going to get to speak to it more and more. My work of trancing is changing. I always felt I was a translator of words, sounds, and languages, but now it's coming in so much stronger. So here's the truth. I'm no longer here to convince anyone that spirit souls are real. If you need convincing, then maybe I'm not quite the person for that. I don't ever feel that I should convince anyone of it, but if you're seeing me as that person, I'm not here to convince. I know that they're real, and I want to carry on my life like that. I know that they're real. I know that the multidimensional translation is real. You know it as well. Deep in your soul, you know it. And if you're connecting stronger and stronger to your soul, you will know it even more. So I am here to translate, to activate, and to transmit whatever I need to from the universe. And the right audience will always be there. Why do you think I've got banned off TikTok for a week? This is June 2025, by the way. Because I was speaking the truth. I was talking about people passing over, but I kept using DEATH. I kept using that word. I don't know if that got me blocked or if somebody complained. You never really know. But that was for a whole week. So they've taken my income for a whole week off of there. So I thank you for that, TikTok. But what it's given me is a feeling of being able to do more of this sort of work, connecting, writing, recording my podcast, because I would normally be live on TikTok, and I'm going to restrict the hours that the universe is going to use me to transmit the messages to you. So it will be certain times on certain days, and that's what I'll be given. I will still put up the post of mediumship because that's what you all connect to right now. But remember, that isn't what it's going to be forever. And you will be looking at the multidimensional translations that will be coming through me. So you feel it. You know you feel it. This is your calling. If you didn't feel it, you wouldn't still be listening now. You'd have gone off and like, what the hell is she talking about? So then you're ready to step closer into the next layer of this work too. This work might not mean you stepping into the next layer, as in jump into the layer that I'm on, if you're an absolute beginner. But the next layer for you, if you are a beginner in this work, is to come and join my spiritual development group that I have. We run it twice a month, 2 hours at the beginning of the month, 2 hours at the end. Absolutely fantastic development progress with people that have never done anything like this before. They're giving messages, they're connecting in, they're speaking from spirit, they're writing from spirit. Their whole lives are changing. With that, with a combination of the realign to your true self, oh wow, watch this space. They'll be whizzing along. So you're ready now, I know you are because you're still here, to work towards the next layer of your life. As I'm speaking now, the 22nd of June 2025 is the start of the Realign to Your True Self course. Go and read about that, johnmayfield.com/realign, and you can sign up on that page. It is for you. That is to get you ready. That's the human you, getting the human you, connecting to your soul you, and going forward, reaching for your soul purpose. Amazing. In the next episode, because this is 2 episodes, I'm going to explore the myths of old school platform mediumship, why humour is a massive part of healing, and what the Galactic Soul Show might really become. Until then, trust your connection, speak your truth, and never forget you are the medium, the message, and the memory. So this is me, John Mayfield, signing off Zoetic Chat, and I'll see you in part 2. Hey, thank you for tuning in today. Your support is much appreciated. Please consider leaving a review, sharing on social media, and telling your friends about my podcast. You can also join my newsletter at johnmayfield.com. Remember, take what resonates from Zoetic Chat and enrich your life with wisdom in all areas. And stay tuned for the next episode.